Prabhupada, the whole world has come to know Lord Jagannath. Our beloved guests here are coming from Jagannath Puri, so you all know Jagannath. But we don't know Lord Jagannath until Srila Prabhupada brought Lord Jagannath to the world. As by His unlimited mercy. And we'll see today how actually merciful that is. The first deities in ISKCON were Lord Jagannath. The first deities in Detroit were Lord Jagannath. And the first deities in many places around the world. And Srila Prabhupada was extraordinarily purposeful. Everything he did, he had a very precise purpose for why he did this. So we may wonder why he established Lord Jagannath as the first deities. And as we know, actually Lord Jagannath came to him through divine arrangement. But from his childhood he had this deep passion for Lord Jagannath and Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra. He used to conduct his own Rath Yatra in Calcutta as a boy. And he was conducting it so extravagantly that his father's friends, Gaur Mohan De's fathers, became upset that, hey, how come you're not inviting me to the Rath Yatra? He said, this is a 5-year-old boy's party. This is not... No, he's conducting it so nicely. We want to come. So, this Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra is in the core of Srila Prabhupada's heart. And by His mercy, we have all been able to experience it. And in 2 weeks, we'll have an opportunity to experience our own Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra. And tomorrow, we have the opportunity to participate in Lord Jagannath's Snan Yatra, in which we'll all have a chance to bathe the deities of the Lord. How merciful Lord Jagannath is, that He comes out onto the altar, into the temple room, and anyone who walks through those doors has an opportunity to offer Abhishek. Will you let anybody offer Abhishek to your head? Will you let anybody bathe you? No. But Lord Jagannath is so kind and so merciful. No other deities do this except Lord Jagannath. So this just gives us a small, tiny glimpse into the mercy and love He has for all of us. So we'll read today from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which Prabhuji is inaugurating today. He's had for some time, and finally the plastic has been removed, and we are reading now for the first time this Chaitanya Charitamrita. How many of you have Chaitanya Charitamrita? Okay, so maybe half of you. If you don't have, you can desire today to bring Chaitanya Charitamrita into your home. This is the most glorious of all Shastra. It is the sweetness of the sweet. So sublime. And we see many, many Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra pastimes from this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we'll read from Madhya Lila chapter 13, text number 8. The title of the chapter is The Lord's Dancing at Rath Yatra. And text number 8 is Balishta Daita Ganayena Matahati Jagannatha Vijaya Karaya Karihati. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The very strongly built Daitas, the carriers of Lord Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car. Purport. The word Daita refers to one who has received the mercy of the Lord. Lord Jagannath has a number of stalwart servants known as Daitas. These servants do not come from very high caste families, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, but because they are engaged in the service of the Lord, they have been elevated to a respected position. Thus they are known as Daitas. The servants of Lord Jagannath take care of the Lord from the day of Snan Yatra up to the time the Lord is carried from the throne to the Rath car. In the Kshetra Mahatmya, these Daitas are said to have come from the Shabadas, or the caste that keeps and sells pigs. However, Among the Daitas, there are also many who come from Brahmana caste. These Daitas, coming from the Brahmana families, are known as Daitapatis, or the leaders of the Daitas. The Daitapatis offer foods such as sweetmeats to Lord Jagannath during the Anavasara, or resting period after Snan Yatra. They also make the early morning offering of sweetmeats daily. It is said that during the Anavasara, Lord Jagannath suffers from the fever, and that the Daitapatis offer him an infusion of drugs represented by fruit juice. It is said that in the beginning of Lord Jagannath was worshipped by the Shabdas and was known as the deity Nilamadav. Later, when the deity was established in the temple, the Lord became known as Jagannath. Because the deities were taken from the Shabdas, all the Shabda devotees were elevated to the position of Daitas. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Bhavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So those are in the back. If you feel, you can come a little forward so those later can find some space. If you have space in front of you, you can just close that gap. Don't worry, I don't need an exit aisleway. It's okay. I'm rested here comfortably now, fully fed, so I don't need an exit ramp. So you can close all those spaces so that those who come a little bit later can come without being disturbed. So thank you all for this wonderful opportunity to speak on Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra. This pastime was first narrated, that I heard, in 2016 in a very sweet and auspicious way. My mother, father, my family, we're all traveling from Jagannath Puri back to Mayapur via train, and His Holiness Bhakti Ashraya Vaishnava Maharaj narrated this pastime while seated on a train. It was a very, very sweet and blissful experience. You all remember that? You remember that? It was very, very sweet. And so from then we have been discussing it here. So how many of you are hearing this pastime for the first time? Okay, so about half of you. And the rest of you, I presume, then have heard it before? Okay. So, like all of Krishna's pastimes, each time we hear it, it is fresh. At least each time I hear it from my own, I feel it is new and fresh. So I'm very grateful to all of you for coming to give me the opportunity for my own purification and to give me some amount of love for Lord Jagannath to hear this pastime. So Lord Jagannath, Very, very blissful and very, very sweet. So we have to go back to understand the appearance of Lord Jagannath. We have to go all the way back to Krishna Lila. And in Krishna Lila, the queens of Dwarka, 16,108 queens Krishna had. And they were all serving him with extraordinary love, the depth of love we cannot even imagine, with the paraphernalia suitable for the queen of Dwarka. Royal palaces and so much paraphernalia. And the queens, though, always were wondering that whenever Krishna would sleep, in his dream, in his sleep, he would call out, "Oh Radhe, oh Gopis, oh Maya Yashoda." And like this, he would be calling out in deep love for all the residents of Vrindavan. And these queens wondered, not once he has called my name. Not once even. So they had this long desire to know what was so special about these residents of Vrindavan, that though Krishna has left for so many years, his heart is still there, his mind is still there. What special service they were doing. But in our conditioned state, this would manifest a mood of jealousy or envy. Why him? Why not me? Right? But this was not the mood of the queens of Dwarka. They were thinking, they have pleased Krishna so nicely. Maybe if we learn, then we can also please Krishna. This is the mood of transcendental competition. Instead of when somebody is doing better than us, we pull them down. Instead, we try to become inspired by them and learn from them so that we can serve even more. This is the mood. And so the queens of Dwarka, they were anxiously wondering why, what they were doing. There's so much love that Krishna still is thinking of them. So they were thinking like this. And one time, as you all know, during the occurrence of the solar eclipse, all the residents of Dwarka went to Kurukshetra. And the residents of Vrindavan, realizing that, oh, Krishna might come to Kurukshetra to observe the eclipse and take bath in the holy kunds. Maybe we should go and we can see Krishna. And there had been a long period of separation. So there was high anticipation for this reunion. So when they met, there was a joyous festival like nothing had ever been seen in this world. Such a joyous reunion between Krishna and all the residents of Vrindavan. And there the queens of Dwarka found, hey, this is our time. Let us try to hear what about this Vraja Lila is so attractive. So they contemplated who they could ask. They could not ask Lord Balram, his brother. They cannot ask. They cannot ask the gopis. That's too. And they thought, hey, one person we can ask. Mother Rohini. She was there even before Krishna appeared. And she was the eyewitness to this. So she'll have good knowledge of this. So they approached Mother Rohini, the queens of Dwarka, and said, we want to hear about this Vraja Lila. What has captivated Krishna's heart so completely? So Mother Rohini said, hey, this is not such a safe thing to discuss. If I start discussing Krishna and Balram will come, they'll disrupt everything and it will not work out. It won't happen. He says, no, we'll make all the arrangements. So they arranged a giant pandal in the forest. And all the queens were to gather there. They made a beautiful Vyasasan and they seated Mother Rohini there. And Mother Rohini said, but still, if we start speaking, Krishna and Balaram come, they'll upset everything. He said, no, we have 5-star security, full perimeter. And you don't know these two boys. You don't know them. They'll find their way in. So they decided, okay, somebody has to stay outside and be guard. But who is going to leave this katha of Mother Rohini? And so they said, oh, Mother Subhadra. She is sister. She doesn't need to hear about her brother's. She already knows. So she can stay outside. And they also knew if one of the queens stayed outside and they told Krishna and Balaram, stop, don't come, they'll not listen. But now if Subhadra Mai says, of course Krishna and Balaram will have to listen to sister. So they very intelligently asked her, okay, you stay outside and guard and make sure those two boys don't come. So like this, they closed the door, locked it, bolted it, made everything soundproof, and then Mother Rohini began to speak. And Mother Rohini is narrating all the beautiful, sweet pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. How he was holding on to the tail of the calves and dragging in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. How Mother Yashoda was binding him, and how he was lifting Govardhan, and all these sweet, sweet pastimes. And Subhadra Mai is wondering, what is happening inside? Something is being spoken. Hours have passed. Not one sound has come. Nobody is moving. Everybody is fully in rapt attention. What's something? It must be special here. I am not getting to hear. She's thinking this way. And then she found one small hole in the tent. So she put her ear to the hole. And she started to hear. And she became ecstatic, like all the queens of Dwarka, in hearing Mother Rohini's pastimes. Because Mother Rohini, she is like the authorized source. She is the eyewitness. It was not second, third hand, and we get some diluted version. She saw with her own eyes. So she was the perfect narrator of all these pastimes. But we know that when Krishna's Rajalila pastimes are being discussed, it's so attractive, so magnetic, that Krishna and Balaram cannot stay away. It's explained, just like, if you chant certain mantras in a certain meter, some snakes will come. If you chant another mantra in a different meter, deer will come, like that. When we chant the glories of Krishna's Vrajalila pastimes, Krishna and Balaram are guaranteed to come. It's like a magnet. They cannot stay away. So as Mother Rohini is playing, they are sitting far away and they feel like, oh, let us go, Balaram. But something is pulling us. They didn't know. But thankfully they had top-class security outside to avert this situation. So they're coming and they see Mother Subhadra. And I said, Subhadra, why? What are you doing? Why are you outside? Everybody's inside. And she says, shh, quiet, quiet. I'm listening. Don't disturb. And she never speaks to us like this. Meanwhile, she's supposed to be stopping them. She cannot say. He's in full ecstasy. And Krishna and Balaram are like, what is she listening to? She won't even talk to us. And they tap again. Quiet! I said, shut up! No talking! So then Krishna finds a hole on one side and Balaramji finds a hole in it. Okay, let us also hear. So they start to hear. And they are hearing these pastimes. Whose pastimes? Their own! Their own pastimes. But they're so sweet. And all three of them, they go into an ecstatic trance. So much ecstasy. Actually, the highest ecstasy. Because after a long period of separation, they are now again hearing these pastimes. And in this ecstasy, the limbs of their body start to retract within. Their eyes become gaping wide. Like if we get shocked, we do this. Like this. And they could not blink. Their mouths became fully open and elongated. And like this, they went into extreme ecstasy. And they were hearing and hearing and hearing. And meanwhile, as always happens, at the perfect time, who always appears? Narada Muni. Narada Muni has perfect timing. So he's flying over, playing in his ears, and something's happening here. So he descends and he sees, what is this? Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, are you okay? Are you sick? Has some disease come? What happened? Your eyes are like this, your limbs are retracted in. What has happened? And Krishna said, quiet. Oh, Narada Muni has come. And then they become embarrassed and they regain their composure. And they say, oh, Narada Muni, you have seen something very confidential. This is some top secret thing. it's a little bit private and personal. So please, you didn't take any selfies, did you? No? Let me check your phone. He said, no, I didn't take any phone. No snaps, no WhatsApp posts yet, no Facebook messages. Okay. He says, but this is something confidential. It's okay, but please do not tell anybody. And for that, I'll give you some boon. And Narada Muni says, you'll give me some boon? Yes. He says, okay, but I want you to promise you'll give me the boon I ask. Krishna says, huh? So many boons I've given you, I always give, you never ask me to promise? This time you're asking me, yes. Okay. So Krishna says, okay, tell the boon. So I'll give you this boon, but you have to keep this top secret, confidential, never share to anybody what you saw. Please. It's very personal and private. Narada Muni said, okay. So then Krishna says, okay, what is your boon? So Narada Muni says, my boon is that I want to hold the universe to see what I just saw. And Krishna says, oh, you defeated me. You cheated me. How you could do this to me? And Narada Muni says, my job is to share your mercy. Your job is to decide. But this is my business. This is your business. I want everybody to have this darshan of yours. It is so sweet and so sublime and so confidential that even in the Vedas, this Lord Jagannath darshan is not described. So confidential this is. But by the mercy of Narada Muni, it became known. So Krishna says, okay, I'll show, but not now. I'll show in some future time. When future time? He says at some point in the future, the situation will become so degraded that even in Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is chanting of the holy names. People will become so lazy that they cannot even take to chanting. Then I will manifest, and just by taking my darshan, just by coming into my vision, we chanted this Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatame. This coming into the vision of the Lord, just by darshan, one will be purified of all their sins and take to bhakti. And by honoring my prasad. So Lord Jagannath has two very special features. He gives uninterrupted darshan. Almost 20 hours a day. Temple is closed just a few hours. Almost all day he is giving darshan. And prasad, Mahaprasad, more than you can imagine. Unlimited amounts of Mahaprasad. To give all of us who cannot even take to the process of chanting this opportunity. So Krishna said, I'll come at that time. So actually, Lord Jagannath is manifest. So the duration of this Brahma's lifetime. How many years Brahma lives? 100 years. 100 of our years? How many of our years? I'm hearing lots of numbers. Okay, let's calculate. We have some mathematicians here. You take the 4 yugas, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. That's 4.32 million years. You multiply that by 994. 994 yuga cycles. That is one 12-hour period of Brahma. Then you have to times 2 to get to one 24-hour period. That's 8.64 million years. Billion years, approximately. Billion. B. That's one day. Then times 30, times 12, times 100. Okay, now our math doesn't work. Our phones don't have enough capacity for zeros. So this is the duration of Lord Brahma's lifetime. So in that duration, the first 50 years, the Lord is present as Nilamadav. And after 50, then the Lord is present as Lord Jagannath. So we read in this purport by Srila Prabhupada how the servants of Nilamadav, they have continued in serving Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath appears. So we know that because Lord Jagannath is present, Lord Brahma has passed 50 years in this universe. And this will go on until the end of this, and then there will be the complete devastation and a new universe will come. So how Lord Jagannath came into being now. So this mood was presented. And going back, this is explained in the Skanda Puran, that in the time of Satyuga, many yugas ago, there was a great king by the name of King Indradyumna. And he was a great devotee of the Lord. And he had desire to see and have darshan of the Lord. That is the desire of the devotee. They have no desire to see some movie star, some athlete, some statue in the museum. They want to see the Lord. And they'll go through great efforts to see. And so they had a desire to see and have darshan of the Lord. So Narada Muni came and explained, well, the Lord is eternally present. Where? In Nilachal Dham. This is the Blue Mountain region of India in the current state of Orissa. That Krishna is present eternally. And this bluish deity, blue jewel, Nilamani, so this Nila Madhav is there, and you can go and take darshan of him. And so he drew some sketch on a map of how to reach there. Very remote area, dense jungle. It was a mountain at that time. It was a blue mountain. So a very difficult place to get to. So King Indradyumna said, okay. So he sent his chief minister, great sannyasi devotee by the name of Vidyapati. And he said, Vidyapati, you go, find it out, track the location, then come back, and then we'll all go. So he was like the lead scout party. So Vidyapati left. King Indradyumna, he was the king of the current day Ujjain, formerly known as Avanti. That is the region. So from Ujjain, we know, to Jagannath Puri area is not some short distance. And so Vidyapati left with this map in hand and had to cross through dense jungles, thick forests, lots of dangers, crossing many rivers. And he was wondering how he's going to find this one forest among so many forests. Right? And so Narada Muni had told him that you'll find that in this forest there's one unique feature, that there is no envy amongst even the animals. So Narada Muni instructed Vidyapati like this. So Vidyapati began to walk and cross, and he came to the Mahanadi river. And he knew that this forest is on the eastern side of this great Mahanadi river. Today you even see the Mahanadi is like 7 or 8 kilometers wide. Huge river. It's also referenced in Srimad Bhagavatam. Very holy, auspicious river. So Vidyapati became very enthusiastic, having come all the way to the Mahanadi river. And so he crossed and he entered into the forest. But now how to find this Nilachal Dham? How to find this forest among so many? And he's walking and walking. And then he saw one unique feature. Something he had never seen before. He saw one tiger was kissing one deer. And he said, oh, this is a sign there is no envy even amongst the animals. So he said, I have reached this. So then he began to search out. This is dense jungle, no one is there. Finally he comes across some small tribe. Some tribal folks are there. And they're living there nicely. And so they begin to speak. They're not able to communicate so clearly. And then he's asking, I hear there's some deity, some worship here. What is happening? Like this, Vidyapati is inquiring. And then we don't know, but you go to our leader. Our leader, he's a very pious man. You go to see him. He'll explain to you what's happening. So Vidyapati goes and sees nice house is there. And so he knocks on the door. And this is the house of Vishwasu. So Vishwasu had one daughter by the name of Lalita. So Lalita answers the door. And she's a very cultured person. So she sees sannyasi has come. So she invites home, gives him place. I said, my father is taking rest. But you wait. When he wakes up, he'll address whatever you have come for. I said, okay. So his father, Vishwasu, had this schedule that he would leave at the night and go into the dense jungle to go serve this Nila Madhav. And then in the early morning hours, he would come back. He would have some prasad, take rest. And then again in the evening, he would wake up, take bath, and go back for service. Like this was happening. So Vidyapati is there waiting. But at the evening time came, and he was, Vishwasu woke up, took his bath, and was going out the door and noticed, some guest has come. And so he said, okay, I'm sorry, I have to go. So I'll come and speak with you tomorrow. But when tomorrow came, by the time, Vidyapati rose, Vishwasu would come home and take rest. And like this, 5-6 days passed, and they were like missing each other. And they're not able to speak. Of course, Vidyapati wants to know what is happening here. He notices that every time Vishwasu comes back, his body is so fragrant, so sweet smelling, like something he has never seen before. And he's wondering, where is the source of this fragrance? This must be this Nilamada, this deity that I have come to see. But he could not pinpoint it. So after so many days, they were not able to speak, and he realized, I'm not getting the attention of Vishwasu. So he makes one proposal. Okay, I'm going to marry Lalita. And Vishwasu was kind of shocked when that proposal was made. That you're a sannyasi and you want to marry my daughter. He's thinking, wow, what better proposition I could get, some very erudite scholar. But Vidyapati knew that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Parityaja, that you abandon all varieties of religion, all dharma, for the service of the Lord. And Vidyapati knew, okay, in order for me to take darshan of the Supreme Lord, even I have to renounce my sannyas order, no problem. I'll do, for the purpose of serving. So this way, Vishwasu agreed, and Lalita and Vidyapati were married, and they carried on like this. So now Vidyapati is thinking, how I'm going to find out? Because he is not telling anyone anything. So one day, Vidyapati says, Lalita brings lunch. He says, I'm fasting. He says, what do you mean you're fasting? You're my husband. My duty is to feed you. How, we are just freshly married and now you're not going to eat? What will come upon me? He says, I'm fasting. Why are you fasting? He says, well, I want to know 2 things. Okay, what 2 things you want to know? Whatever you want, I'll tell you, but please eat. He says, I want to know why your father is going out every night and where he is going. I want to know these 2 things. And she said, no, I cannot ask that. Why? Is your father? One time I asked, and boom, slap. He slapped me like immediately. And since then I have never asked. He has not told anybody where he is going, what he is doing. He says, okay, but that's what I want to know. And if not, I'm fasting. So now she is perplexed what to do. She cannot ask father. Father will be mad. But husband will not eat. She is stuck. But she had to come up with a point. Why Vishwasu was not telling anyone? Because Vishwasu, he was the devotee of Nilmada. He was the only pujari of Nilmada. He had such love. He had no training in worship. He knew no rituals. Mangal Arti time coming, he was sleeping. And then middle of night, he is doing his Mangal Arti. When he is offering Arti, he is not knowing whether incense comes first, whether ghee comes first. No training. But what he had? Pure love. Bhakti is not about rituals. Bhakti is about what's in the heart. And so Vishwasu had such deep attachment, and Nilamada was so attached. He told Vishwasu, someday someone will come and want to come see me. And when they do, I'll vanish. Because I only want to be served by you. And they'll not let you continue serving, knowing you're looking at your external qualifications. So Vishwasu was very protective. He would not tell even his own daughter what he was doing, what to do. But his daughter would every day, while Vishwasu would come home in the morning, take rest, then she would go out to the forest, collect all nice flowers, berries, create the whole puja plate, and make it ready. And so that Vishwasu, when he would wake up, he would take and then go off for her. And like this, she had no idea. So now she's stuck. What to do? Husband not eating. Wife, father will, no, I don't want second time. So, but she said, okay, then I'll have to fast also. So then Vishwasu comes and says, how come you're not taking prasad? He says, well, we are fasting. Why you are fasting? Well, we're fasting because Vidyapati, he wants to know these two things. Why you're going out at night and where you're going? And he says, you know, don't ask. And he says, well, okay, then we're fasting. Fast till death. And he says, fine, fast till death. And Vishwasu leaves. But of course, after thinking, he's thinking, oh, how I can allow my daughter to die like this, not serve her husband, what bad omen will come. Please don't do this. So he went back to Lalita and begged, okay, please ask something else, but don't ask this. But Lalita knew Vidyapati was determined. So after much cajoling, finally Vishwasu conceded. He said, okay. And he explained, I'm going to serve Nilmada in Nilachal Hill. It's deep in the jungle. Why? Going to serve where? Deep in the jungle. That's it. So Lalita is excited. Goes back to Vidyapati. Says, okay, this is where my father is going to serve Nilmada and to go into this forest. Now please honor your prasad. He says, no. I want him to take me with him. Huh? That will never happen. No. Okay, fast till death. Lalita says, okay, me too, fast till death. Now Vishwasu comes and sees, what? Now you're still not eating. And she says, well, yes, he wants you to come with him. Bam! Slap! I'll never, no, I cannot. Fine, fast till death, go. And he runs away. Of course, father cannot take the pain of child, of daughter. He comes back again. Says, okay, fine. I'll tie one big blindfold and I'll take Vidyapati with me. I'll give him darshan and then that's it. And never again. Promise? Promise. Promise? Promise? Okay. And everybody took prasad nicely. But Vishwasu is in anxiety. So Vidyapati is now excited. So that night, Vidyapati ties big cloth around Vishwasu ties cloth around the eyes of Vidyapati. And they go into the forest. Deep into the forest. Walking and walking and walking and walking. Long distance. Every night Vishwasu is doing this. And before he sees anything, he begins to smell the fragrant form of the Lord. The same smell he is smelling on Vishwasu every night when he was coming back. Such beautiful scent like nothing he has ever seen. And he's now starting to hear transcendental sounds never heard before. And finally he comes in front of the deity and Vishwasu removes the eye covering. And Vidyapati is in awe. Nilamada, such a beautiful form of the Lord. He's seen the form of the Lord all over. But nothing like this beautiful Nilamada. So gorgeous. And he's struck. He's looking around. So perfect was the worship of Vishwasu that even all the demigods were coming to watch Vishwasu worship Nilamada. When we are worshipping, the demigods are coming to watch. But they were so attracted that even the demigods, even the deer and the tigers, they say all the living animals were coming and observing. And Vidyapati is just like, erudite scholar, great Brahmana sannyasi of the king, well learned. And he's watching Vishwasu offer arti, and again, everything is backwards, no mantras, nothing. But he's seeing that Nilamada is so attached to Vishwasu, as if he is seeing tears flowing from the eyes of Nilamada. And he's seeing how the deities are accepting this worship of Vishwasu. And immediately Vidyapati offers his obeisances to Vishwasu. He says, this is the devotee. I can see the attachment between Krishna and his devotee. It's both ways. So strong. And he was stunned to see this. All the devatas, everybody's enjoying. after honoring some prasad, now it was time to go. So they retied the band around Vidyapati's eyes so he cannot backtrack. And Vishasu led him back. They reached again early morning hours. And so now Vidyapati had seen the Lord. And back in Avanti, King Indradyumna is waiting. Actually, he was fasting from that point. He was not going to take prasad until he had darshan of the Lord. So Vidyapati said, okay, now how I'm going to get out? I am married. So a few days he stayed, and then he asked for leave, and then he left. And so he had to return journey. Few more months elapsed. Every day King Indradyumna is waiting and waiting when Vidyapati will come and return with the good news. Long pains of separation. But finally Vidyapati comes and explains that yes, I have seen the Lord. And King Indradyumna immediately says, let's go. Doesn't ask any questions. How long it'll take us? Will it be a difficult journey? Do I have a business class seat or economy class seat? Am I a middle seat? What will be my prasad? He just says, let's go. This is the mood of devotee. Their service to Krishna is not dependent on what sort of arrangements I might get, what sort of facilities I might have. It is a mood of service, service, service. Faith in Krishna. So King Indradyumna immediately began. And Queen Gundicha said, I'm coming too. All the ministers, we are also coming. All the sub-ministers, we are coming too. Eventually, all the residents, the whole kingdom, they desire to go. And King Indradyumna renounced everything. His palace, all the comforts of royal life. And how they were going to reach Nilachal Dham? Through the forest. How much difficulty would be, We know, we go on one small vacation, how many bags and bags and bags and things we pack, trunk is full, roof is full, in between the seats are full. Imagine, whole country is moving now for a few months to reach Nilachal. How much effort it takes. Huge effort. But they were all ready to go. And so like this, King Indradyumna, Queen Gundicha, and the whole kingdom, they began to make their way to Nilachal. And they were walking and walking and walking, and finally, after a couple months, they reached the Mahanadi River. And they became excited, because they knew, just across this river, we'll see this Nilachal forest. But just to cross this river, how you'll cross few 100,000 people? No, there's no bridge. One boat takes 5 passengers, then 5 more, then 5 more. Like just crossing took several weeks. So after months and months of effort, so much austerity, so much difficulty through the forest, finally they reached the other side of the river. After they reached the other side of the river, one transcendental sound came, this Akashvani. The sound comes like when Kamsa is taking Devaki in the chariot, right? This Akashvani comes. So like this, one sound comes and says, Nilamadav is left. And King Indradyumna was devastated. What? For all this effort, he is gone. What to do? So he became very despondent. And Narada Muni said, okay, he came again and said, let's see, let's continue on. Something will manifest, something good will happen. So they said, okay. So they continued on. And they finally reached to where current day Jagannath Puri is today. They reached this place. They set up camp. And there, Narada Muni said, we'll do one yagya. So king, being a great king, he arranged for this Ashwamedha Yagya. Not any, 108 Ashtotara Ashwamedha Yagyas. Very elaborate Yagya. And so they installed the Yagna Kund, actually right where the Gundicha temple is today. That was the Yagna Sthal. Right where the altar is, that's where they performed this great Yagya. And out of this Yagya manifested, one self-manifested, Lord Nrsimhadev deity. This was actually the first deity in Jagannath Puri like this. So this Lord Nrsimhadev came being pleased. Still today, if you go to the Gundicha temple and you go down the back side of the gully, there's one Yagya Narsingha. There, that is the self-manifested Narsingha Deva emerged from this Yagya performed by King Indradumna. And so King Indradumna became very pleased, and so he offered great charity. Being a great king, he told all the local kings, bring all your cows. And he gave millions and millions of cows in charity. And because this yagya took some time, the cows were standing and they made a ditch and they were passing urine in a whole kund form. Still today, this Indradumna Sarovar, right behind the Gundicha temple, that is the kund that was formed from all the cows that were given in charity during this Yagya Narsingha pastime. And so, after this, another Akashvani came, another transcendental sound, and said, my dear Indradumna, my great devotee, I have left as Nilmadhav, but don't worry. I am coming now in a different form. You go to this place called Monkey Mohan, where there's one river meets the ocean. In Monkey Mohan, there's a giant log. I have come in this form now, and so you please go and retrieve that, and you carve my deity, and thus I'll manifest in the new form for you. So King Indradumna became very ecstatic, very excited. Okay, now he has hope. And they had lost all hope, not knowing this first sound case that Nilmadhav had left. But now the second announcement came. Okay, he's coming. So a big party, a whole group, they went to this place and they saw, yes, there's the log. So they had like a 3-day festival, celebrating, ecstatic. The Lord has come. Now they had to say, okay, we have to bring this log. So King Indradumna sent some people to go in to bring. Would that move? Would that budge? What? And okay, bring some animals. So they said, okay, we don't have bulldozers and forklifts. And so they brought some big elephants, some thousands of big elephants, and they tied ropes to the log and tied ropes to the elephants and said, okay, march. And one whole week, elephants are pulling and pulling and pulling. Log is not moving even 1 inch. Moving a log in water is easy, right? You can just push. But it's not moving even 1 inch. Okay, call horses. Oh, thousands of horses come. They attached horses to the elephants to the log. Another week, 2 weeks pass. Nothing. Call all the soldiers. All the soldiers come. Nothing. King Indradumna is thinking, elephant power, horse power, manpower, nothing is moving. And King Indradumna again becomes disappointed. It's taking so much trouble, so many difficulties. How many of you face difficulties in your spiritual life? Congratulations. It means you are very dear to the Lord. It means you are blessed by the Lord. This is the nature of devotional service. How much trouble King Indradumna was facing. He could have said, bring the deity to me, I'm king. But he took the difficulty. Difficulties in devotional life will come, but it is what actually propels us further. Our Shastras explain, if you try to purify gold, what do you have to do? You have to heat the gold, put it in fire. Then the impurities will be removed. So similarly, to remove the impurities, yes, some difficulties will come. But the devotees, they embrace that difficulty as an opportunity to purify. So if you're experiencing some difficulties in your devotional service, congratulations. It means you are especially loved by the Lord. But don't worry, that won't last eternally. You all might say, okay, I'm done with this. So King Indradumna find what to do now. Nothing is working. So much effort. First he left, now he's come. Now I can't even take out from the water. What to do? So Narada Muni says, okay, we have made a transgression. We have not followed the proper etiquette. What is the etiquette? That we must take the permission of the local devotee. He says, I am devotee. Yes, but you're not a local devotee. We must follow know their etiquette. We must call them. They'll bring. So let's call Vishwavasu and Lalita. They are devotees. So Vidyapati says, oh, okay. My father-in-law, my wife. Yes, let's go call. So he takes them to the house. At this point, the house is completely overgrown. All trees, bushes. Barely the house is visible. Because as soon as Vidyapati left, Nilmadav left. And when Nilmadav left, Vishwavasu and Lalita had nothing. They completely went into this mood of just crying and crying. They began to ask villagers, where are they? Where are they? They said, we have no idea. We have not seen them for months. Surely they are dead. Because they have not eaten. They are just crying, oh Nilmadav, oh Nilmadav, oh Nilmadav. Like this, they were just crying and crying. We have not seen them. So they went back. Narada Muni said, hey, they must have gone. He says, no, they are still here. You go call them. So then, what to do? So they post messages on WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, put on the news. So back in those times, how you do? They would call into those horns, right? Oh Lalita, oh Vishwavasu, oh Lalita, Vishwavasu, please come, please come. So like this, they went all around. No one, they didn't appear. So they went back to Narada Muni again. Again, see, defeated at every step. He says, you are calling them. They have no interest in them. They'll not come. You announce that Nilmadav has come. Then you'll come. They'll have some interest. Otherwise, while they'll come, someone is calling them. They don't have any desire for fame or anything. Oh. So then they went announcing, Nilmadav has come. Nilmadav has come. Please come. Nilmadav has come. Immediately, two figures emerge from the woods, like these woods we have here. They come emerging from the woods. And basically it is like bone with a little bit of skin, skeletons. They're coming. Vidyapati is seeing and he's not even recognizing that that's his wife and father-in-law. Completely, nothing is left. And they are just dancing, coming out of our, Nilmadav is here, Nilmadav is here, Nilmadav is here. And they become ecstatic. And where is he? And he is kept some distance away. So we have to go see him. And then Vishwavasu and Lalita begin to cry and cry. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? He says, you don't know, this Nilmadav is very naughty. He'll run away. You should not have all come here, one or two. The rest of you should have stayed there and kept eye, because he'll run away. He's a very naughty boy. And no, we've tied him with big ropes. Oh, is it? Big rope. Big ropes tied to elephants and horses. He'll not go anywhere. Yeah, that is true. Maya Yashoda tied Krishna also with ropes and it worked. So maybe with big ropes he's still there. So again they became enthusiastic. So Lalita and Vishwavasu, they follow the group and they make their way to this river at the ocean. And immediately they see the log. But they don't see log. What do they see? Nilmadav. Oh, Nilmadav, what have you eaten all these days? Who has been bathing you? Who has been dressing you? Did you eat something even yesterday or today? Like this, like a mother might speak to her child after separation. And they're just crying and talking. And like this, they just are walking in the ocean. Not even thinking they're entering the water. They're just going the whole, and with no effort, lifts up the whole giant log and puts on a lap. Like a mother brings a small baby onto her lap. No effort. And they're thinking, these horses and soldiers and men couldn't move 1 inch. And Vishwavasu took the log and put on a lap and he's petting and crying and saying, oh my Nilmadav, how are you? A long separation. See, devotee, they don't see marble or stone or wood. They see Krishna. Krishna is manifest in these deities. But because our eyes have not yet purified, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena, Lord Brahma says, when the eyes are anointed with love, then we'll see Krishna. So Vishwasu, pure devotee, he was seeing Nil Madhav there. Even King Indra, all they were not saying, they were saying we have to bring Nil Madhav in. They were already there. So Vishwasu just very easily carries this giant log and puts it on the shore. And King Indra says, no. You bring it all the way to this now current day Gundicha temple, because we cannot move. They knew if he stops here, it'll never move. So now the carrier has come. The carrier was skeleton, no big muscles, nothing. We don't move, we don't render service with our might. We render service with our heart, with our consciousness. And so like this, Vishwasu brought this big log to the Gundicha area. That's where they were established. And so now they had to carve a deity. So they called many carpenters. Each carpenter would come and tuck, and all their tools would break. No carpenter could make even the smallest of mark. And King Indra was saying, now what? Every effort is so much trouble. But did he quit? No. We face troubles in our bhakti also. This problem, that, always. So what he knows, persevere, stay enthusiastic, determined to succeed. And so King Indra knows what to do. Finally, Krishna himself comes in the guise of Vishwakarma, some old carpenter. He says, I will carve this deity for you. But on one condition. I'll go into this room, you close the door, 21 days, you don't interrupt me. Queen Gundicha is thinking, old man, at least how will give you prasad? He said, I don't need prasad, I'll take full prasad afterwards. But 21 days, you don't disturb me, and I'll make your deity. Is it really? Yes. So Queen and the King said, okay. So they closed the door, locked it outside, hid the key, and each day Queen was going and he could hear tuck, 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 tuck. Became very happy. Next day, tuck, 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 tuck. Happy. Few days elapsed. Different, wherever, 12 days, 14 days, doesn't matter so much. Somewhere in that time, all of a sudden, no sound is coming. She's thinking, oh no. This old man has died. He's not, no food, no water. What bad omens will come upon us? We have not hosted him nicely. Oh, Krishna. So she tells King Indra, open the door, we must try to revive him. He says, no, he said 21 days. Dear, 21 days, no sound is coming anymore. He's certainly gone. We must at least try. Don't you know what will happen? King Indra said, no, we cannot. We promised one. No. And because the carpenter said, if you interrupt me, where is, I'll leave. So, but finally Queen Gundicha persisted. King Indra had to relent. And so they opened the door. As soon as they opened the door, he's gone. And what they saw? These half-carved deities. And King Indra was like, now I have these not even proper forms of the Lord. No arms, no legs, nothing is... It was just half finished. What to do with this now? Nobody else can carve. Then Narada Muni comes. And he says, no. This is the boon that I'd asked for. Now, this darshan is actually the confidential mood of the Supreme Lord. In his most ecstatic mood, he looks like this. This deity is not incomplete. It is actually most complete. The most complete form of the Lord. Because it represents the time at which Krishna was the most happiest. And he'd gone into this ecstatic state. He is not incomplete. Congratulations, King Indra. It is through you that Lord Jagannath has appeared in this world. As Krishna had promised me many millenniums prior. So now King Indra becomes enthusiastic. Alright, Lord Jagannath has come. So Narada Muni said, now you must arrange for the installation ceremony. So he constructed beautiful giant temple. Current Jagannath Mandir was constructed by King Indra. Beautiful temple. And so he said, no ordinary priest will come and do the installation. So he went to Lord Brahma. King Indra is great devotee, so he went to Brahma Lok to invite for the installation. So he gave the card and said, Lord Brahma, please come. Lord Brahma was busy, so waited for the meeting to elapse and then met with him and said, please come and install this deity that has arrived. He heard the whole story, he became excited. Yes, let us go. They all went. But few minutes to Lord Brahma. How much time elapsed here? Millions of years. Millions of years had elapsed. So while they were gone, whole temple was empty. And actually it became overrun by sand. It went underneath the earth. Temple was gone. One day, one king was going to conquer the neighboring lands. King Galamada. Galamada was going and his horse fell. And what? How the king's horse fell? It's not possible. So they said, find out what caused the horse to fall. And they found one metal was sticking through the sand. And dig it out, pull it out. And they kept digging and digging and digging, and they saw this chakra. And they kept digging and digging and digging, and they gave up their plans to conquer it. And the whole army, they came and dug. Many years had elapsed, and they finally dug out this temple that King Indra had built. And so Galamada was great devotee of Lord Narayan. So he said, I'll establish a home for my Lord Narayan. So he goes into the temple and he sees these dolls are standing in the altar. He says, what are these dolls? Put them in the storeroom. We don't need them. And he established his Lord Narayan there. And so like this, he was worshipping and worshipping. So meanwhile, King Indra, after going for just a short visit to Lord Brahma, a few years had passed, a few million years, he comes back. And what? These people are occupying my temple. The security guards will not let him in. He said, wait, this is mine. He said, yeah, who are you? He said, I'm King Indra. He gives his whole, resume. He says, we have no record of King Indra, Many yugas and kalpas have passed. What? And some big argument comes. Finally, King himself, Galamada, comes. King Indra is there. Lord Brahma is there. And they're arguing, saying, this is my rightful, I am the owner of this temple. What is your proof? Nobody can prove. And then there is one crow. Crow is sitting on the tree. Right above this Rohini Kund. Rohini Kund, if you go to Jagannath Mandir, right in front of Vimala Devi's Mandir, there's one Kund. This Kund is said that from this Kund, all the waters of devastation come. So when there is the devastations at the end of the year, it all emerges from this Kund. Oh, very auspicious. So this crow said, no, actually, there is King Indradumna, who is the rightful owner of this temple. Galamada said, what do you know? You're a crow. How you can try to sell it? And so the crow jumps into the Kund and comes out as Chaturbhuj, Lord Narayan, and says, now I have credibility to speak? And Galamada says, yes, yes. And he surrenders. Oh, I'm sorry, King Indradumna. Yes, this is your temple. Yes, you can have it back. And he gives up. So King Indradumna goes into altar and he sees Lord Narayan and says, where are my deities? They're gone. He says, no, don't worry. We have kept them in the storeroom. Bring them back. So he brings them on the altar. Actually, today, if you go to the main Simadwara gate, on the left side you go, you'll see this Lord Narayan deities. Actually, before you go in to see Lord Jagannath, you should first offer obeisances to Lord Narayan, because he is the original occupier of that altar. So he is a beautiful deity. That is Galamada's Lord Narayan deity. So King Indra put him on the outside. The 9 deities are on the inside. And so in this way, Lord Jagannath was very elaborately installed into the altar. And very beautiful abhishek and offerings. And Lord Jagannath was so pleased that actually he also began to cry. He was shedding tears of love for his devotee. And so he asked King Indra, you please ask me for some benedictions. I'm so pleased with your sincerity. See, when we render service, those obstacles will come. Those challenges will come. But those obstacles and challenges that we face, the Lord reciprocates with them. They do not go unnoticed by Him. Just like when somebody takes some difficulty to do something for us, our appreciation for that increases. Right? If something is difficult and we recognize, we appreciate it even more. Similarly, those difficulties that we overcome and persevere through, it is pleasing to the Lord so much, and He reciprocates unlimitedly. And so Lord Jagannath was so pleased with King Indradona. You please ask me for some benedictions. So King Indradona says, okay, I have one desire. That please do not give me any sons or daughters. Now, how many of us have went to the Lord and prayed such way? Now, he says this, and Queen Gundita is standing behind, and she is like, what? And devastated. How are you gonna? They had no children yet. How are you gonna ask for such a boon? She's crying and crying. Lord Jagannath says, King, why are you asking like this? Your queen is so upset with you now. You're asking no children. Why you would ask such a boon? So he explains, my dear Lord, many years later, if I have some children and some dynasty, they will claim that you are ours, that these deeds belong to us. No, we all belong to you. You are Lord Jagannath, Lord of the universe. We are yours. Nobody should claim you. And because I don't want anybody to claim that these are my family deities, this is my request. We want no lineage. And then Lord Jagannath became completely melted. This is the love of devotee. They sacrifice all of their own desires for the glorification of the Lord. And the Lord sacrifices all of His desires. Did He want to show this form? No. But He did because His dear devotee Narada Muni asked Him to. This is the two-way exchange of love. And so the Lord Jagannath said, okay, but Queen, you are not happy with this request. I'll make you one promise, Lord Jagannath says. You'll have no children, but you actually have 2 sons and 1 daughter. Me, my brother, and my sister. We are your children. And Queen Gundita says, yeah, that's cute, but actually, how will be my real sons and daughters? It is said that when we pass, our sons must do our Pindadan Shraddha ceremony. Who will do for us? And Lord Jagannath says, I will do. And Lord Balaram says, I will do. To this day, on the Shraddhadan day, every year, Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram perform this ceremony for Queen Gundita and King Indradona. So they said, okay. Yeah, but if you are my sons and daughter, then at least sometime you'll come and visit me, stay with me. You won't do that. He says, no, we'll do that also. And for 1 week, we know, Lord Jagannath goes from Jagannath Mandir, and where does he go? Gundita temple. Why Gundi? That is his mother's home. So that is why he goes there for 1 week and stays, because he made the promise that he would go and stay at his mother's place once a year. And so she became pacified. Okay, yes, this is my sons and 1 daughter. And the king, now feeling a little bit anxious, like, okay, I want 1 more boon. He said, I want 1 more boon. Now, we should learn something from when devotees asked for boons. When Lord Nrsimhadev had killed Hiranyakashipu, nobody could pacify Lord Nrsimhadev, but Prahlad Maharaj could. And he very easily pacified with sweet prayers, sweet words. And Lord Nrsimhadev says, Prahlad Maharaj, I want to offer you a boon. And so he says, I don't want a boon. He said, no, I want to offer you a boon. I don't want a boon. He said, no, ask. He insisted. So what Prahlad Maharaj asked for? Let's see a raise of hand. How many of us have went to the Lord and asked for this boon? He said, I want a boon that I'll never be tempted to ask a boon from you. That's the benediction I want. No, what do? We go to the Lord and submit our long list of things that we want. Sometimes we have 2 arms worth of list. Right? But the pure devotees, they know. Better we not ask. Why? Because Krishna actually knows what's better for us and what we think is best for us. Just like father and son, right? Son thinks they know what's best for him, but father really knows. So a pure devotee, they never ask anything of the Lord for them, because they know Krishna will provide what's best for me. But now King Indraduma is going to ask for a boon. So what boon he asked for? He asked for the boon of seva. He said, my dear Lord, I want to feed you very nicely. He says, I want the boon, the benediction, that whatever offerings I give you, you will eat. And I want the benediction that I will give you offerings. And before your hands are dry, from after eating we wash, before your hands become completely dry, the next offering comes. And like this, till to this day, you see, as soon as one offering is completed, the other offering comes. And like this, Lord Jagannath is eating all day long. This was the benediction requested by King Indraduma. He did not ask for giant kingdom, strength, eternal. No. He asked, let me give you the seva of offering you nice bhoga. That becomes this Jagannath Mahaprasad. So this is the pastime of the appearance of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath ki jai, Lord Balaram ji ki jai, Mari Subhadra ki jai, Shri Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra Mahotsav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. So this is the sweet pastime. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments or questions? A little discussion we can have before we end. We still have a little bit of time. Any comments or questions?
Jagannath Prasad never finishes all the time. Depends. Doesn't matter how many people come there. Everybody gets enough Prasad.
You all know the pastime of Jagannath Prasad? It's not only Jagannath Prasad. It's Jagannath Mahaprasad. Why Mahaprasad? So once Narada Muni went. We have some time, Prabhu, for a little bit? So once Narada Muni went to see Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, and he was performing nice seva to Lakshmi Devi. He was buttering her up, doing nice seva. And she said, okay, what benediction, what boon you want? He said, I want some of the Lord's Maha. Oh no, I cannot give Lord's Maha. That I cannot give. So then he became, you promised me a boon. So Lakshmi Devi goes to Lord Narayan and says, Narada Muni is asking for your Maha. No, you cannot give my Maha to anybody. I know, but he's asking, he rendered such nice service. We know. To get something from father, you go first to mother. Right? So she kind of gave good reasons why. So finally, Nora said, okay, fine. You can give him, but don't give him in front of me. So you can give him when I'm not looking. So Narada Muni gets plate of Maha after he has eaten, after Lord Narayan has eaten, and he is eating, and he has gone into ecstasy. Like, supreme ecstasy. So then he is dancing and leaves, and he comes upon Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is saying, oh, Narada Muni, what is you? Oh, I've never seen you like this. What is your ecstasy? You're always happy, but this is something. Oh, I have had the greatest of all things. Yeah, what is it? I had some Mahaprasad from the Lord. You had Mahaprasad from the Lord? Yes. And you didn't bring me any? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think. I just went into ecstasy like this. And he said, I'm so sorry. And we went like this. When Shiva noticed, just underneath his fingernail was one piece of rice. So, oh, Lord Shiva, is this? I said, yes, is it? So he puts his finger in the mouth of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva takes this, just the smallest fraction. And he starts going into ecstasy. And he is dancing and then Parvati Devi says, what are you doing? What has happened to you? What is the cause of your ecstasy? He said, I have had Mahaprasad of the Lord. You had Mahaprasad of the Lord? And what did she ask? Where's mine? Now he's stuck. She became very angry. So angry. The fire from her anger began to burn all the three worlds. And so all the devatas, even the suras, they went, they said, please do something. Parvati Devi, she's now be uncontrollable rage. He's burning all of us, suffocating us. So Narayan goes to Parvati Devi and says, okay, I'll give you Mahaprasad. And she says, I don't want just your Mahaprasad. I want you to give your Mahaprasad to all the living entities. All. This is the mood again of the devotee. They're not thinking about themselves. So he established that when I appear as Lord Jagannath, you will also appear there. And all the offerings, when they come straight from my altar, they will first come to you. So still to this day, if you see, they'll take all the puja papandas, they'll take the offerings and first offer it to Bimala Devi. Her temple is just outside on the left side of the temple. And there all the offerings go. And from there, it goes straight to the marketplace, where anyone can go and with just a few rupees can buy any Mahaprasad. And as my father, unlimited amounts of money. You go at midnight still, you can get unlimited quantities of Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath. And that is by the great benediction of Parvati Devi. And of course, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was praying to Lord Jagannath, please give me a son who can spread this message of you. That answered was there, prayer was answered. And he named his son Bimala Prasad in honor of Bimala Devi, who is this great benediction of receiving. So because of her benediction, we are all able to enjoy this Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath in unlimited quantity. So if you ever go to Jagannath Puri temple, don't leave without at least 6 or 7 pocketfuls of prasad. That is a must. That is a must. Any other comments or questions? Okay. If not, so please do not. Yes. Please do not miss tomorrow is Snan Yatra, the once in a year opportunity for all of us to bathe Lord Jagannath. You'll be right in front of him, able to bathe. This is something you don't want to miss. Bring your friends, bring your neighbors, bring anyone, bring strangers, doesn't matter. This is the greatest of all fortune we have. So do not miss this opportunity tomorrow to offer Abhishek. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow is? The Lord is coming out to see all of us. And rendering any seva during Rath Yatra is guaranteed to ultimately take us back home, back to Godhead. That is how powerful seva is to Lord Jagannath. And on this day, he is very happy. And so any service we do is rewarded many, many times. So please come and participate. There are so many opportunities. Starting on Saturday, the day before, you can render some seva either in the temple or at the site. And then Sunday, from 7 a.m. until midnight, we have seva. So find at least 1 or 2 hours where you can render some seva. And whether you are young or old, doesn't matter. Everyone will make some opportunity to do some seva. So please join and put on this wonderful festival. It's one of the largest festivals we have. Rath Yatra in Michigan has become one of the largest in North America. It shows how merciful this Lord Jagannath is, and in particular how merciful Srila Prabhupada is. He was so determined to bestow this benediction upon us. So don't miss this greatest of all opportunities. And then tomorrow we also have Children's Rath Yatra, in which we are very excited to unveil a new Rath, a new custom-made Rath that will certainly be a treat for Lord Jagannath, and you won't want to miss darshan of that. So we get a little sampling of Rath Yatra before the main Rath Yatra in 2 weeks. Okay, I think we have one more announcement. So hold 1 second.